Harry Kane has not shown up to Tottenham training, and this has been confirmed by all the reliable sources. Ali Gold has confirmed it, Fabrizio Romano has confirmed it, Dan Kilpatrick has confirmed it, Charlie Eccleshare has confirmed it. Literally everyone is confirming it, and Matt Law, and they're all saying that he was due to come back today and he hasn't shown up.
Yeah, it's a blow. It's something that we were hoping Kane wouldn't do. We were hoping that because of his respect for the club and, you know, being one of the leaders and just who he is, the person he is, we were hoping this wouldn't happen. However, I think when you look at it from objectively, you know, we all know he wants to leave. It's no surprise that he wants to leave. He's pushing for a move. I think when you go, if I would have told you back at the end of last season that Kane's going to start pushing for a move this summer, I don't think anyone would have been surprised. And I think at this stage, we all know that Kane is desperate to leave. He wants to start going to it. He wants to be at a club who's ambitious and can win trophies. We know Tottenham this season, whatever we do, even from now to the end of this window, whatever we do, we're not going to really be competing for the league. We've maybe gone outside gut shot top four if one of the top four clubs who are in there at the moment falls by the wayside. That's like we're relying on other clubs to fall back rather than us to close the gap ourselves. So you can and also we're in the Conference League. So even from a European standpoint, there's not really much glory there for him that he could win. So what is there to stay for right now? Not much. He can get more money elsewhere, more chance of trophies. So there is no surprise to me that he's pushing for a move, because I don't think he's going to get this move unless he pushes for it. But what I am going to say is, with Grealish going to Man City reportedly for 100 million, that looks like that deal's on the go. There is no club. I can't see a club spending 150 million on him. I can't see it. United have just spent 100 million, over 100 million on Sancho and Varane. Chelsea, I don't think we're ever going to sell to Chelsea. I reckon we'd rather. Oh, I don't think we're going to sell to Chelsea. I don't think that's a possibility. So Kane
it's between two clubs, in my opinion, the two Manchester clubs, really. Yeah.
So Kane might push for it. He might push for it, and he might demand to leave. But I really can't envisage a situation where Man City is stumping 150 million on top of the 100 million for Grealish. So he might not have a choice but to stay. So I think at the moment, as much as he wants it, it's not up to him right now. It's up to other clubs stumping up the money. So maybe there's an argument to say he wouldn't have done this unless he got an inkling from City that they are prepared to pay the money. And maybe there is something, a deal done. Who was it? Dan Kilpatrick was insinuating that Man City are prepared to pay 100 million plus a player for Harry Kane, and if that's a deal's on the table, then maybe that's something that Tottenham might find acceptable, depending on who the player is. But it's still very difficult for this deal to get done. Even if Kane can push right to the end of the window, it's still very difficult for this deal to get done. So, yes, it's a massive blow for Kane to be not in training today, and it's not what we expect from him, and I have to condemn it because it's not professional. But it doesn't mean he's 100% gone just yet, I don't think.
I agree with that, but Simon Stone from the BBC did come out, I think it was last night or this morning, and he said that from his understanding, Kane thought he had a gentleman's agreement with Daniel Levy to go this summer. Tottenham, all the noises coming out of Tottenham seeming like that's not the case, or that they're going back on that. But the way that Harry Kane, yes, look, everything you said is true, that, you know, Harry Kane, he deserves the move, probably. He deserves to fight for the biggest trophies in football right now. But at the end of the day, the way he's going about it, not turning up for training, is not the way to go about it. You know, this guy's a role model. He's England captain. He's the talisman of the team. He's the leader of the team without being the captain, without having an ER band. And in my opinion, you've got to come back first day and have a man-to-man chat with the owner. You don't just not show up, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think it's right. There were reports previously that he wasn't going to show up, and I was hoping that they weren't true, but it seems like that is the case. So everyone was expecting that he was going to have these showdown talks or whatever with Levy and Nuno and Paratici to see where we're going, where the situation's heading. But for him not to show up is a big blow. It is a big blow. It means he's going to try his hardest to move, which is hard to take, obviously, because we love Kane so much and what an amazing player he is, and what we don't. Obviously, I'm desperate for him not to leave this club, having not won anything, given what he's done for us. But on the other hand, I can understand it. You know, a player's career is not long. It's, you know, he's got many years left of him because of who he is, but. He's now 2 years. He's now 28 years old. Spurs have been 2 years in the wilderness doing nothing. Even in those 2 years, he's still pretty much kept up his standards. So he can't blame himself. He has to blame the people around him. And I don't think it's a case where he wants to leave Spurs. Obviously, he wants to leave, but I think it's a case where he feels like he needs to leave Spurs.
Yeah, no, that's the facts of the matter. It is the facts.
And that's just, and I can't disagree with him as much as I want to. As much as I want to say, oh, he has to stay. Look where we are. I can't. There's nothing in my mind that I could say that would convince Kane to stay, because there's no reason to stay.
Yeah, but there's ways of going about it.
Yeah, but no, I understand that. But the brutal reality is, if he doesn't force through the move, it's unlikely to happen. That's the brutal reality.
I think
as we want to say it.
I think even with what he's doing right now, I still think Daniel Levy won't accept any less than what he was going to accept beforehand.
Agreed.
So I don't think it makes too much of a difference.
But I agree. Look, but that's not how players think. That's not how agents think. They think they got to do they have to do their part to try and force a move, and then they can never. And then at the end of the summer, even if he doesn't get the move, Kane won't turn around and think, if I would have pushed harder, maybe I could have got it. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that he might even. I think if he stays at the end of this window, I don't think he'll be sulking and he's going to be downing tools. I don't think he's that kind of guy. But I do think he's going to push very, very hard. Now I think it's clear he's going to push very, very hard to try his hardest to get this move. But I don't think he'll be sulking if he does stay.
Do you not think once he's taken this step to not show up to training, it's a very slippery slope?
Yeah, but I remember, what was it? Modric did the same, and then he stayed that one season. He was great. So
I mean, but that's like the only case that we can think of. Everyone else ended up leaving.
Yeah, but this is a different case, isn't it? Like the amount of money we're talking about for him, I think it's difficult for a team to stump up that kind of money. So I think even in this situation, given everything, I still think it's quite likely he's going to stay. I think at the moment, how things are going, it's probably likely he's not going to start the season in the team. It seems like that way to me. I think Man City, you can pretty much rule him out of that one at this point, unless something dramatic happens in the next week and Man City completely rule themselves out or something. It seems as though he is going to try his hardest to push that move. This is going to
rumble on right till the end.
It will. And I just think that Harry Kane sees this as an opportunity to try and leave, and I don't think he wants another season to pass him by. So he's going to try his utmost to leave. It doesn't mean though that he definitely will leave. It just means he's going to try. And I don't blame. Honestly, people will say he's a snake and things like that. I can understand that. I'm not happy with him with the fact that he's doing what he's doing. I'm not happy about it, but I can understand it. And I think, for all he's given to this club, and the professionalism to the highest standard throughout his whole career at Tottenham, we haven't matched him. That's the case. We've let him down more than he's let us down. Just because of this action today that he's done, which has definitely let us down throughout his time in the club, we've let him down more, I feel. So I don't blame him for trying to force the move. I don't blame him, but I'm upset. But I don't blame him for it.
I mean, the way Kane and his camp are looking at this is like they know Daniel Levy won't accept less than whatever the asking price is, 150 million, let's say, for argument's sake, the price is, and what's he thinking by doing this? He's thinking that if he tries and does this, maybe they'll accept a bit less, something that Man City are going to offer, because he probably knows that they're not going to go as high as what Daniel Levy wants.
Yeah, I just think he thinks he's got to try. If he really wants to move. I think he sees this two situations. I think he sees that if he doesn't do this, trying to force a move, then the deal is not going to happen 100%. At least if he tries and forces it, it still might not happen, but at least there's a chance it will happen. At least there's more of a chance he'll get the move. So that's why I think he's doing it. I think he'd rather gamble and even upset a few people, but try his hardest to get the move, rather than just be a good model professional and be a good boy like he's been like for the past 7-8 years at Tottenham, and then pretty much ruin his chances of moving at all. Because if he doesn't push for it, Levy obviously is going to go as high as possible, and he's pretty much guaranteed to stay, because there's no incentive with 3 years left on his deal for Levy to budge at all on his asking price. At least if he agitates a bit and gives the impression, even if he isn't going to down tools, but gives the impression he is going to down tools, it'll maybe he's thinking it could make Levy think twice about it. I still don't think it will, but I think that at least he might put some doubt in Levy's mind. That's what he's hoping to do, and then maybe lower the price a bit. That's why I think Kane's head is at, or Charlie Kane's head is at the moment. So that's how I feel the situation
Charlie
is.
Kane's eyes are just lighting up in dollar signs right now. That's for sure. But look, at the end of the day, it's a sad day. It's a sad day, and look you can 100% see both sides of the story. And the way I see this playing out, is I don't think Daniel Levy will grant Harry Kane his wishes to leave for 100 million plus a player. I think he wants the full whack of what he wants. Otherwise, he's not leaving. He knows he can keep Harry Kane at Tottenham for another year, and he'll get that same 100 million bid probably next summer.
Yeah, he'll obviously lose a bit, that bit extra because of the extra year. But he'll get, I think next year, even if it's not maybe not 100, but it could be between 80 and 100. You know what I mean? So there's still a hefty fee that we could get next summer. So I think Levy at the moment, I think he's calm about the situation. He knows that he's got the cards in his court right now, pretty much. I think he knows that at the moment we've got the better hand, even if Kane is pushing for a move. Spurs have with the three-year deals, and with Grealish probably going to Man City, Spurs pretty much hold all the cards in this deal. So I think, as much as Kane might be stubborn and pushing for a move hard, there's only one person who's the most stubborn, and that's Daniel Levy. So I don't think he's gonna budge. It's really unlikely Levy will budge.
As Romano said, who's the most difficult chairman to deal with in Europe? That's Daniel Levy, and we've got quite a few super chats to get through. I think I missed the first one. It's kind of vanished off my screen. But the next one was from... I can't even see the name because there's too much blocking here. But it says, it's worrying that City haven't signed Jack Grealish yet. And do you think that that could break down and they could put all their eggs in the Kane basket?
This is from Essa Al-Shamari. I'm hoping that's not the case. But... there's always a possibility if maybe they might prefer Kane to Grealish, and if they see an inkling for Kane, and they might think, because I think at the moment, if you look at City's team, who's more in need, Kane or Grealish? It's obviously Kane, isn't it? Aguero leaving, Jesus hasn't really stepped up massively.
Yeah, massively.
So obviously Kane is the one where you're thinking they definitely want, and they definitely need in their team. He's the missing piece of the puzzle.
Their manager, their chairman, and everyone, all the noises coming out their club. Their talisman in Sergio Aguero has left over the summer, and they're in desperate need for a striker. It's been widely reported from their manager and their chairman that they're going to bring in a big striker this summer.
Yeah. So that's what the chairman said. He said Aguero was an absolute legend, and he's going to be he's going to be very difficult to replace this summer. However, he is confident they can find the right person to replace him. And when you think about who's really of the caliber that can replace someone like Aguero, there's not many players other than Kane, maybe like Haaland, who I don't think they're going to go for this summer, who can replace him. So it's obviously it makes sense, the whole deal. But again, there's a lot of moving parts still to happen. So I don't, just because he hasn't shown up for training, all this stuff it's a blow, but doesn't mean it's a done deal or anything for sure.
Do you want to just get through those other super chats?
1 sec. Yeah.
The next one was from Bob Spur.
Yeah. Also, there's one, I can't see the name, but the one you missed earlier says, at the end of the day, he signed a contract. He wasn't forced to sign it. I'm shocked he hasn't shown up to training. It's disrespectful, especially to Nuno. it's a bit disrespectful to Nuno, seeing as he hasn't had a training session with him at all. So that's a massive shame that he hasn't even given Nuno the courtesy of having a conversation with him. But again, look, all these issues, they predate Nuno, and he's dealing with Tottenham Hotspur, not a specific manager, and I can understand why he's doing what he's doing. I really can, as much as it's painful, and I don't want him to be doing it. I can understand it.
We've got one from Sasko Aliou saying there's no loyalty in the game from players and clubs. Good on him. He needs to look after himself first. I mean, he's shown loyalty. He has shown loyalty over the past couple of years, Harry Kane. And I think, look, it is what it is with Harry Kane. This is no secret to anyone. I mean, this is no secret. Even 5 years ago, he was saying if this club is not moving in the direction, he will look to leave.
Yeah, he said that. Look, what was it? 5 years ago, he said in 3 years, if I haven't won a trophy, then I'll have to look.
He's given us 2 extra years.
And he's given exactly, and he's still
probably in the 2 worst years.
So I can't blame him. Yeah, let's read the one from Bob. So I never read it. It says, guys, do we need some form of statement from Kane or from the club or Kane? We are in a rebuild. Surely clarity is needed. My heart goes out to Nuno. Big up, legends. Look, as much as it's disrespectful to Nuno, and he hasn't had a conversation with Nuno since he's come in. We've got a new manager. Like, just because Nuno comes in doesn't mean he owes the club anything. Just because Nuno's just come in. He's been at this club for 7-8 years. He knows how things are done here. He knows how it's run. And unfortunately, it's not Nuno's fault, but that's just the sad reality that he's coming at this point. But these problems predate him. And just because we can't just, every time we're in a rebuild and Kane wants to leave, sack a manager, say, oh, he has to give this manager time. Like, it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. He doesn't need to give he doesn't owe Nuno anything just because Nuno's just come in. That's the reality. So do we need a statement? There's nothing we can't have a statement. What are we going to say? There's nothing to say right now. City need to put the bid in.
But even if you do bring out a statement and say Kane's leaving or something, that just puts us in a bad place in the market, and people know that they can overcharge us for stuff.
Yeah,
for players. So I don't think a statement is needed. To be honest, I really don't. Scorpion fan for life saying Nuno can convince Bernardo to join 100 million plus Bernardo. Would you take that?
100 million plus Bernardo. I mean, that's not the worst deal in the world, but I would. I mean, look, if you told me that was going to be the deal at the end of the day, I wouldn't not going to turn around and say that's like a terrible deal. But I think maybe we're better off taking the cash. As much as I like Bernardo Silva, I think he's a class player.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something tells me I'd rather the cash and do it instead of a player very high wages who maybe isn't the most necessary player.
Jimmy Jones, welcome to the family. Welcome to Silva, my friend. Big up yourself. We're just going to get through these super chats and then move on to the next story. Just give me one.
Scorpions for life. Oh, yes, you said that. And Brian Daigle says, Kane is not a stake. He's been lied to year after year. Then Romero saga happens. Things will never change while the parasite is in charge. NFL protests can't come soon enough. Levy out. Yeah, I mean, I think it's right in terms of, as I've said before, we've let down Kane more than he's let us down. I think over the past few years, and that's the reality. So, if Kane feels the need to push the move, I mean, I don't blame him. I really don't blame him.
I still stand by that. You need to go in. You need to show up on your first day, especially with the kind of stature around Harry Kane. You need to show up. Come back to training and have a man-to-man chat with the hierarchy, and don't take shit from Daniel Levy, don't take shit from Paris, don't take shit from the hierarchy at Tottenham. You know what I mean? If you really believe that you want to leave and you want to go right now, then come in, have a man-to-man chat with Daniel Levy, and don't take his shit. You know what I mean? What's not turning up to training going to do?
He's going to I guess he's trying to make a statement to the media, probably. That this is real. He really wants out. It's not just something that he kind of wants. He really wants it, and he wants it now. He doesn't want to wait, and that's maybe the message he's sending. And it's painful. It's painful for all of us. And I understand people, the knee-jerk reaction is like, oh, he's a snake, and oh, how dare he? And I understand that. When I first see that, that's my visceral reaction to that. But when you think about it, really. It's understandable. It
is understandable, but you just can't help not feeling let down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? because, you know, this is a guy that we've shown so much love to over the past however many years it's been. Like I said, our leader on the pitch, England captain. This guy is like widely revered as like the model professional in the game right now, and he's not showing up to training. It's a letdown. There's no two ways about it. I understand he wants to leave, and I understand that he deserves to leave, but I think you've got to go about it in a certain way.
I think when in a perfect world, that's the reality. That's what we would want. But this isn't the perfect world, is it? This is reality. And I remember reading an article from The Athletic about, and there was talking to a few agents, and they were talking about how transfers work and stuff. And they said, and then they were saying how, like, you know, a lot of the times when these players they try and force through the moves and they don't turn up to training or do all this stuff. People might think it's disrespectful and everything, but there's no they agents and stuff. They don't see it as any other way, but how to do it. Otherwise, he's not going to get the move.
But look at Christian Romero. Look at Christian Romero. He's dying to come to Tottenham. He turned up to Atalanta training yesterday like a man. Widely reported he's going to speak to Gasperini. He's going to speak to the Atalanta CEO to try and get his move, to try and negotiate his wishes to them. And that's what Harry Kane should have been doing.
Maybe he's already done that, and they're not having it. Look, we've seen throughout this whole throughout the whole summer that Tottenham have maintained we aren't selling Harry Kane, right? Levy's continually maintained that. Yeah. We're not selling Kane. He's not for sale. Yeah. Apparently, even today, Levy, I think, I'm not sure who it was. I just read a report saying Levy is still maintaining Kane is not for sale. So obviously, I think they've had those conversations, and Kane really wants to push for it, and that's it. It's
hard to take.
It's hard. I'm gutted by it. I'm absolutely gutted by how he's acting. I am, but for me, I think I can understand what he's trying to do. I can understand the maneuverings, and people will see it is disrespectful. It is disrespectful what he's doing. But sometimes to really get what you want, you have to be disrespectful, and that's how he sees it, I think, at the moment. And you know, he's done his bit for us. He's done as much as he could. I don't think Kane can do any more than he's done, really, in a Spurs shirt. What more can he do? And if we're not going to be ambitious, and we're going to still be having these step backwards, and you know, even right now, we're haggling a few million. We're 2 weeks away from the season. We're nowhere near ready. Why he would rather join a serious club who gets ready early and actually plans seriously and actually is planning to challenge for titles and cups, and they take their transfer business seriously instead of going all the way to the end of the window, haggling over every single penny, and then foregoing the first few games, and then always lagging behind and always playing catch up. I mean, he's sick of it. I'm sure he's sick of it, and he wants out. Of
course he is. And nobody could doubt that. Nobody can doubt what he deserves. Nobody can doubt what he wants. But like I keep saying, it's just a way you go about it.